and maybe I'm just the person, I'm like, I don't need necessarily that title. I would just be okay with like, no, I'm not a virgin. I fell, or this circumstance happened to me.
We fall down.
Yeah, but I'm here.
And draws go up.
And my draws are coming back up.
My draws are back up. For a saint is just a sinner whose draws came down.
Yeah, so.
But they didn't stay there.
They didn't stay there.
They're back up. Choir say, draws came down, but they're back up. Draws came down. Come on, Liz. But they're back up. Draws came down.
I'm pretty sure this is blasphemy.
But they're back up. Because I was a sinner whose draws came down. But they didn't stay there. They're back up. They weren't standing. They were laying. That's What's up, y'all? It's your boy KevOnStage.
And it's KevOnStage.
And welcome to the Love Hour podcast. We thank you for taking the time to listen on iTunes or SoundCloud, or watch us on Facebook or YouTube. Maybe you got us in a background tab and you're supposed to be working, but you're listening to us, and we don't take it for granted. We thank you. The Love Hour podcast is sponsored to you. The Love Hour podcast is brought to you by the Love Hour Tour. This our sponsor is ourselves.
So we sponsor ourselves.
If you want to support us, buy a ticket to the Love Hour when it comes to your city. We're going on tour starting in January 2017 all the way through May. So we don't have any donors or sponsors or anything outside of our bank and Jesus. So, of course.
What is the Love Hour, Kevin?
The Love Hour.
I'm interested in going, but I don't know what the Love Hour is. What is the Love Hour?
The Love Hour is a hour and a half, basically live podcast where we talk about love, life, marriage, and relationships. We take some questions and answers and do all that. But basically, we do a live podcast in the city before the stand-up comedy show. So even if you don't want to do that, you can support by buying a ticket to the stand-up comedy show. Any of this that you do is supported.
Do I have to be married?
No, you don't have to be married. You can be seriously dating or engaged to come. Or you could be single. You can do whatever you want to do. It's your life. You ain't got to have nothing, but you could just come and want to talk to us and listen to us. It ain't got to be nothing. But it is for married and seriously dating people. The content is for them. So anyway, with that being said, today's topic comes from a question from a listener that Melissa will read now.
Hey Liz, how are you? I was hoping I could get some advice from a good Christian saved sister. So this waiting until you get married thing, how did you do it? Truth be told, I haven't waited, and I've been trying to get back on the right path with God. I want to wait. I want to be the person who waited until I got married. And then she goes on to say, I don't believe in that born again version crap, but I do want to go back to that person who wanted to wait because it was completely my intention for 20 years of life to wait until I got married and to only be with one man and one husband. I know you said you and Kev put yourselves on a curfew and that helped, but I will be 33 in a few weeks, and 33 and waiting is so much different than 20 and waiting.
It is.
I'm at a point right now where I pretty much don't date because I feel it's going to lead to an uncomfortable place where I have to shut things down with the guy because I want to wait. I don't want to set myself up for disappointment if he doesn't want to stick around. Sorry for the long email, but for some reason you're the person who came to mind when I was trying to figure out who to talk to and who to trust. Talk to you later. Or talk to you soon. TTYS?
Yes. Talk to you soon later.
I didn't read the full email because I think I had some personal information I don't know that she would want shared across.
So if you want us to answer a question, you can always email us, and we will let you remain anonymous. So don't worry about that. So Lisa, how do you wait? Wait for it.
Yeah. We're way too much like Hamilton people right now. First, I think it's funny actually that she says she doesn't believe in the born again virgin crap, because I think that is a good sentiment. I don't believe in it either.
You don't believe in born again virgin?
No.
I ain't no virgin. I'm a virgin again. I gave my legs back to the Lord.
I think it's better.
They're closed now.
Yeah, they are. They like re-closed. I think it's better to deal with the reality of the situation and understand that, or not understand, but just accept the fact that you are not a virgin.
No.
And that instead of doing like a born again version, just I'm going to do better in the future. That is my intention. That is my heart. That's what my desire, and that's what I plan to do. You don't need the title of like virgin. You know what I mean? I think that's
sometimes I think people just need something to say to encourage themselves.
Maybe.
That they want to be celebrate.
But I think it's okay. I think it's like,
I know it's celibate.
What'd you say?
Celebrate.
Yeah. I think it's okay to say, I think it's okay to, I'm not a virgin. But I'm
also currently not having sex or looking for a relationship.
Or I'm just abstaining from sex. I think there's nothing wrong with owning that place in your life. You know what I mean? I don't think you have to be a virgin. I don't think you need the title of virgin to go on that journey of I'm abstaining from sex at this point in my life.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like, it's not the same, but you can equate it to like how people say I'm on a diet, or I'm not on a diet, I'm on a lifestyle change. Yeah. What matters isn't what you title it. It's the actions that you do.
And I think that's what's the important part. I mean, maybe some people need it in order to be the encouragement behind the action. And if that's you, boo, more power to you, do you, boo-boo. And maybe I'm just the person, I'm like, I don't need necessarily that title. I would just be okay with like, no, I'm not a virgin. I fell, or this circumstance happened to me.
We fall down.
Yeah, but I'm here.
And draws go up.
And my draws are coming back up.
My draws are back up. For a saint is just a sinner whose draws came down.
Yeah, so.
But they didn't stay there.
They didn't stay there.
They're back up. Choir say, draws came down, but they're back up. Draws came down. Come on, Liz. But they're back up. Draws came down.
I'm pretty sure this is blasphemy.
But they're back up. Because I was the sinner whose draws came down. But they didn't stay there. They're back up. They weren't standing. They were laying. That's.
So anyway, that is total side note, but that is definitely how I feel about that.
And we often get this question, how did we wait? Because Melissa and I were engaged in college, and we abstained from sex.
I'll tell you how it worked, because you got me that little $99 ring. That's the way to bring it back.
But to be honest, just to be 100% honest, I don't know. Well, there's two things. Let me back up. One, Melissa was a complete virgin, born again. I mean, not even born again, just born.
The first time.
She was a first-time virgin. Draws hadn't came down. I was not. I had explored the dark arts of fornication prior to being married. So I don't want y'all to think we were both virgins, because that ain't my testimony. Amen.
And I think there's power in saying that. Like, I think that's why I'm like, you don't have to be a born again virgin.
Yeah, but I'm actually an example of somebody who I didn't call myself a born again virgin. I was just like, I'm trying not to have sex like that no more. And as a Christian, young Christian teen, what?
You was trying to have sex with me.
I mean, I wasn't. I was tempted. Don't put me out like that. I was trying. I wasn't as oh man, you were more committed than I. If it were to happen, I wouldn't have been mad. I would say that. But to me, actually, what meant more to me than it for me was I knew how important it was to you, and I didn't want to be the reason that was ruined for you. You know what I mean? Like, I knew you were very serious and committed to being a virgin on your wedding day, and in some ways knowing we were going to get married made it harder, because it was like, well, I want to lose my virginity to my husband on my wedding night, but at that time it was like, well, he's going to be my husband anyway.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? So, and I had my own apartment at the time, and Melissa had a dorm. The roommate wasn't always there, so we had ample opportunity. I mean, like I said, I had my own apartment. I never turned the heat on, so that's going to make it a little more difficult, but I had my own apartment. But anyway, the one, I realized that at 20, it's one thing. At 33,
yeah, that's a whole different story.
That's a different story.
Like,
and have already having had sex. You're grown.
Like, you're grown.
Like, at that time in our life, we were still, you still live with your parents. When you weren't in college.
Yeah.
When we didn't have sex. But 33, like, imagine if we were dating now.
Yeah, that's a lot harder.
And I had my own place, and you had your own place. Yeah. Your mom lived 3,000 miles. You know what I mean? Like, there's, at that time in our life, our pastor was much more involved in our life because we went to a smaller church
Sure.
that we had grown up in.
Yeah.
So they would have like, there was like this silly story. One time I was taking Melissa back to college because we lived in the same city, but our college was like an hour from where our parents stayed. And I used to give her a ride to college on Sunday nights, But anyway, so one time I was taking her back to my house because I had forgotten something at my apartment that I needed to take back.
That's legit. You forgot something.
And that was a legit thing. And I was like, let me just stop by my place and grab it. This is at like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And we saw a church member, and they just didn't even see me pulling into my apartment. They just saw me on the road going the opposite direction of the college. And they talked to your mom? No, they talked to us. They were like, I seen you was going to that apartment.
She didn't talk to us. She talked to like pastor. She's the one. She actually didn't like me.
Yeah, she didn't. And
then
she
they
talked to the
came
pastor.
back and told us.
Yes, they told the pastor. Not that they seen us
or my
necking,
mom or something, but yeah.
Told somebody at the church in leadership that they saw us going back. They can't even prove I was going. I could have been going to the gas station. There was also a gas station right there.
I don't know.
And they saw that. But anyway, the point is, at that time in our life, our church was so small and we were that ingrained that somebody could see us and be like, ooh,
yeah,
what y'all was doing.
She actually legitimately did not like me.
Yeah, I know. But now, if we're 33, like, that's not an issue.
Yeah.
If you're going to do what you're going to do, and nobody would, be knowing, so.
Be knowing.
Nobody be knowing. So what we've always talked about is like, how did we do it is a question we get.
Yeah, but her question is how did we do it? But then you also have to make it applicable. Like, she's a grown woman.
Yeah.
So I feel like some of the things that we did may not be, I guess there's still things that could be applicable, but I don't know.
I think the most important thing that you can do, and I know some women who are doing this or at least try to do this. I've talked to some guys. This has to be a conversation that you have early.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
We should have talked about it, but the number one thing I agree wholeheartedly is, I'm not saying date one, like, hi, how are you? Oh, I'm fine, and
I'm not having sex. So if that's what you think it is, it ain't.
Yeah,
because my drawers came down, but they up now. I don't know if you lead with that, like.
Yeah, I don't think you have to lead with that, but I do think that, like, once it's decided that you're a couple or that you're going to be.
Nope. I wouldn't even go that far. Because listen, if you talking about decided that you're a couple, this is if she's almost 33, she's dating somebody who's in that range.
Yeah.
And this is an uncommon thing.
Oh yeah.
For the most part, for
so
religious
you're saying
beliefs,
it's a get to know you conversation.
I wouldn't say it's the first thing. Like, I don't know if it's a first date type of thing, but I know people be having sex on their first date. But I think it's if this is for religious beliefs, which I assume it is for her, actually she said it. I want to get right with God, whatever.
Yeah.
Your best bet is to date someone who,
number one, morals align with yours.
Because who this is not going to be a foreign
exactly.
idea to them.
Right, because that is a lot easier of a conversation to have with someone who at least gets it.
Right.
Versus someone who's like, yeah, but why?
Yeah, exactly. Because that's going to be hard.
It's hard. It's hard when your morals align.
And there's gonna be church dudes who are gonna be like, "Oh yes, daughter, I understand.
Yeah,
I was just here to talk to you on the biblical tip.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how your loins are exposed or my loins are exposed now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. It ain't even that. Even if you get a church dude, a lot of dudes in the church are smashing, and so are the girls. So, but if you want to have a serious, like, I don't think the answer is either. Well, I'm just not gonna date at all.
I don't either.
Because that's
lonely.
That's lonely, and you still, it's still not. It's not going to lead you to a healthy relationship. Just being like, I'm not doing nothing.
No, well, that's what I mean. You'll just end up being alone.
Yeah.
Because you're not dating anyone. But instead, I think it's important to have the conversation early.
Yeah.
Find someone who aligns with what you believe.
Right.
And then set yourself, and this I still do think is applicable, is set yourself up for success.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really tough. A friend of mine dated this girl. He's a church dude. This is one example of how it worked. Their relationship didn't work, but he knew from the jump. So that he took her on a date, and before on the date, he was like, "Where do you want to go? Or what time can I pick you up?" And she was like, "Look."
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, I feel like she might have been a little overzealous, but I think like the idea is there. But she was like, "Look, I am not, I'm into dating and stuff, but my sexuality and I don't want to have sex, because it's important to me that I don't have sex unless it's my husband after my wedding day. So if you're interested in dating me, here are a couple of ground rules. I don't date at dark. Like, we can go to lunch, we can
Do
go
they
to
even
park.
hold hands?
They held hands, I think. But she's like, after
She was very serious about it. And honestly, though, I don't know necessarily. I don't know that she was overzealous.
Well, let me get through the whole rules.
Okay.
She was like, I don't go anywhere that's dark. We can't even go to the movies.
Yep.
Even during the daytime, I don't allow myself to be in a position where it's dark. I can't be alone with you after it's dark.
We had to go to like public places.
We could be in public places during the daytime, but once it's dark, we got to go our separate ways. And if you're interested in still interested in dating me, let's have at it. But we can grow our relationship from there. But this is where I'm at. And the dude was like, all right. And they, they dated for a little bit, and they didn't even break up because of the sex.
Yeah,
he was annoyed by the
Yeah, but also I feel like he didn't align with her either, though. He wasn't as seriously.
That was a way to weed it out.
And that's why I say I don't know necessarily that it's a bad thing that she was like very strict up front, because what you don't want and what can happen is if you do decide to loosen your rules and then something happened, you will be resentful.
To him?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what you don't want. And then now that's
that
unhealthy
us.
and toxic on both sides.
Let's let people know.
Yeah, that is.
We were virgins when we got married.
I feel like my lipstick is cracking.
It's not. You can't see it as bad as you think you can.
Well, I can feel it though.
We were virgins when we got married, but
Kev was out here trying me.
Let's just say there's some boundaries that were tested. So just understand that somebody asked in one of those questions, how do we define sex? And
Kev was out here trying me.
I'm trying to figure out how I could say this.
They understand.
I ain't never hit no home run, but I got on base. Hey, man, I was thrown out, but I was on base. Hey, man, but God is able to get you on base. But God is also able to make sure you don't get
That wasn't God.
home.
That was the devil. He was possessed. Don't blame that on Jesus.
See, we on the in the Love Hour, we can talk in depth in these things. When you buy those tickets and come see us live. But on the podcast, actually, we can talk however we want on the podcast. I just don't know exactly what I'm trying to say.
They understand is what I'm trying to say.
They get it. Well, I forgot my other point. Oh, my point was that resentment.
Yeah.
So when I was trying, these things, well, what if we do this? Well, I mean, what if we just do it all like this? What if it's just over the clothes? What if it's just gyrations? So sometimes Melissa gave in to some of those things, even though she didn't, really want to. So I felt like, man, I can't have sex, but I could do this. And I didn't find out till later, like there was some seeds of resentment that were planted, when I was basically trying something that was against what she was trying to do. And you were very vocal and clear about it. And I knew that, but I wasn't 100% as committed as you were. And the resentment thing is interesting because to me, I guess I felt like since I asked you, and you agreed, or you acquiesced, I would say more than agreed, you relented, I felt like we were on the same page. But just because you relented didn't mean you were 100% on board with it, and I misread that. And then once I found out like how you felt, I really felt bad about that. And honestly, the reason that it was so difficult for me is because I had sex already.
Right.
This is what I tell young people when I used to be a pastor, like, you think it's hard to not have sex when you haven't had sex, and it is. But once you've already had sex, it is insanely much harder to stop doing it. So back to the advice that we would give her, I think the most important thing is to find somebody who's on the same wavelength with you.
Yeah.
Have those conversations up early. Have some boundaries that you set, whatever they are, if they're as strict as that girls or not, that's important. And then you just, like everybody else, you're just going to be trying to do your best to hold to those things. And it's going to be difficult because we live in a sex-crazed environment and sex is everywhere and nudes is everywhere and, that culture is glorified and all that type of stuff. So it's not going to be easy, but I feel like not dating isn't the answer.
Yeah.
And not having the conversation is only going to lead to more trouble, because then the guy's going to be like, well, if you told me this, I wouldn't.
Up front, yeah.
You know, you were up front. And there are guys out there who are okay with this, but I'm not going to lie to you and say there's a lot.
No.
There's going to be a lot. There's probably going to be more that are going to try and fake it to make you think that they're cool with it, just so they can get you, you know.
Get with you and then test you.
Get you off your guard. Just like a guy in the friend zone, like, bro, she said this, but eventually, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, that's what happens a lot of times.
What?
With church people who ain't trying to do it.
Just people in general, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this isn't just people. Some people just be having their, you know, exploratory phase, and then they come back and they're like, I ain't trying to be like that.
Right.
Now, but you kind of fall into the same habit. So I guess it's just, in some ways, it's like a diet. You have to set your parameters. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm not going to do. And I'm going to do my best to hold to that. And if you slip up, you know, you're going to be more likely to slip and fall more and more. If you don't, it's just, that's part just like a diet. If you're going to slip and have a cheeseburger, let it be a cheat moment, not a cheat meal.
Yeah.
And a cheat moment, because a cheat meal becomes like a way of life. I've been off and on eating right for years, and Melissa can tell you. And, you know, let me have one Dr. Pepper leads to, let me have a Dr. Pepper and a bacon double cheeseburger leads to, I ain't even eating right or going to the gym anymore. If you continue to make those mistakes over and over, you just end up being like, man, I'm all the way off the wagon. Then you look in the mirror and you hate yourself, you know, or the way you look.
How did we get here?
I had Jack in the Box today. You know, but now I'm back to drinking water. So I think that's kind of the advice I would give. If you don't have a partner who's believing in the same thing it's not going to work one way or two. You're going to just be frustrated, or you're going to give it up in an effort to keep him, or you're just going to break up.
Yeah.
So to at least give yourself a chance, I think I would start with that.
Agreed.
So that's all I have.
That's all I have.
If you have any questions to submit to us, you can reach me at kevin@KevOnStage.com. And if you want to send it to Melissa, Miss KevOnStage at Gmail. But, you know, she going to read it to me. So, you know, if you want us to talk about it on the podcast, we'll both see it. So either email address would work. But again, thank you for listening. If you want to support, you could buy tickets, or you can just tell a friend about it. Share a video, share the podcast, share the link. There's a million ways to support, and they're not all monetary. You know, sometimes a share and telling a friend is supporting, and that is just as valuable. So in our world, the more people that know about us, the better. So until next time, I'm Kev.
Melissa.
This is the Love Hour Podcast. Brought to you by insert sponsor here.